tremendous looking trophy.
Hello and welcome to Platinum Explosion, number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Dylan Blight, and joining me, as always, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here to talk about Starship Troopers.
Have you ever seen that movie?
I have. It's been a long time, but
I'm actually shocked that
I've seen it.
Had, to be honest. But there you go. Like, that feels like a movie you probably haven't seen. You know what I mean? Like, niche, a little bit of horror-ish, but not like full hot, but you know.
I'm
like
surprised as well, you know?
Yeah, just so we all know. All right, not much to talk about in the show, so let's get right into it. Talking about bugs, of course, the reference there is Helldivers 2, a game that we've actually played this week.
Yes.
You played a little bit more than me because you played a little bit by yourself before, but we played a couple hours last night together finally. What do you reckon? How would you describe this game?
It's a third-person action, preferably co-op shooter. We're just doing a bunch of missions, you know? There seems to be some sort of overall community aspect to it. Like, because obviously there's a galaxy map that's slowly being liberated, and it's clearly been very liberated by the time we started playing. So, you know, it's a fun time to play co-op. I mean, it's solid to play by yourself, but, you know, you need to be... It's not as fun, the chaos of, you know, bugs coming from every direction, and you're having to deal with friendly fire and, you know, people throwing down stratagems when you least expect it, that kind of stuff, maybe without warning, you know. But yeah, it's a good time. You know, there is the debate about, you know, how much of a, you know, how close to Starship Troopers actually is, you know. I've seen people compare it to Power World, and like, isn't this just straight up?
Come on.
No, there's a little bit more effort put into making this something, you know, influenced rather than just giving a Pokemon a gun. So,
yeah, because I mean, it is obviously the Starship Troopers thing is army dudes, bugs.
Yeah,
but the bugs don't look exactly the same, and
it's a wide variety.
Aren't at all the same.
Aren't really characters.
No,
they actually win. You know.
Yeah. I mean, what's Earth Defense Force, Planet Force, so basically, like, that's Force, bugs versus army as well. But yeah, I mean, that sort of captures, I think, a very simplistic setup, which is, it's just meant to be, you're meant to just do missions over and over and over. Well, I say missions, but like, obviously there's a multitude of planets, and there's different objectives when you land, a lot of side objectives if you want. But I mean, the aim of the game is not to play through like structured story missions in co-op or by yourself. It's just very much like, get to point A, kill a bunch of things, get to point C, D, you know, extract, win.
Yeah.
Don't die. Get experience points, get money, get better gear, get better, like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's it's got a very simple concept, really.
Gameplay
which is
loop,
fine, but it is proving to be super, super popular. So, like, we're going to pull into the story here. Push Square writes, Helldivers 2 hype continues. More concurrents than every PlayStation PC port combined. They write, Starship Troopers Simulator. Helldivers 2 continues to conquer new worlds, deep striking past Destiny 2 in terms of concurrent play count, and approaching Pal World in terms of popularity. Notable from a PlayStation perspective is another surprising feat developer Arrowhead achieved in terms of PC dominance, more concurrents than the peak player count of every single PlayStation PC port released on Steam so far. An impressive feat was noticed by VGC, who says Sony's magic number, 300,359, and that Helldivers eclipsed this effort on Saturday with 338,827. PlayStation Studios listed first-party published games on Steam, Horizon, Days Gone, blah, 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 Uncharted Last of Us, blah, blah, blah. Similarly, working through the weekend to ease the continuing server issues caused by mass influx of players attempting to log in at the same time, Arrowhead managed to squash even Saturday's effort on Sunday with some 409,367 patrons responding to Super Earth's call for reinforcements following a surprise cowardly assault from automaton forces. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. Obviously, as we're sort of talking about last night, was playing that the game is so popular. It's not even like launch weekend popular. It was, I think, in part because they put a double XP weekend on, so obviously more people wanted to play.
Yep.
But like the game was so popular and continues to be that the amount of people trying to play it, they didn't have enough server space, and the server message was saying server's full, try again later. And that message was up, I think, from what I could see, for like 6+ hours, something like that.
Yep.
So basically, all day if you were trying to play on the weekend here in Australia. During the whole day, we managed to get on at night when everyone in America was asleep.
Americans.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you asked me, are the servers live? I jumped in, and during that entire period, you went away and edited Arcade Couch. I just sat there in the lobby,
just in case.
I just had it open in the lobby in case it couldn't get in later. So yeah. Good times.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone could have predicted this. We were like I was always going to play it, and I was looking forward to checking it out. But you know, I definitely wasn't like, man, Helldivers 2, it's going to be massive when that releases.
No, I think, especially going in, we were, especially further out, we were kind of worried because it was releasing around the same time as Suicide Squad, which could have gone either way and went the way that it did. You know, as well as Foam Stars getting released like on PlayStation Plus at the same time for free, pretty much. Yeah. You know, if that have like succeeded or blown up, you know, that could have impacted it. So,
I mean, and yeah, that's another big thing for this is this game isn't free.
Yeah, it's paid.
It's paid release on PlayStation and it's paid on PC. It's not part of PS Plus. It's not part of PS Extra, whatever. This game is having massive success with buyers. You know, people purchasing the game. Not to mention the game has microtransactions, if you so choose, but
not egregious microtransactions.
Not egregious. From my understanding, everyone's pretty happy that with the ones that are being optional, and the way that they're spaced out. But you can understand, like, let's say even 1% of the player base purchased even the lowest amount of that, given and the player base as is. Like, I definitely feel like they've been working on this game for, what was it, 7-8 years, something like that. I feel like they must be sitting pretty happy with the outcome of their work at this stage so far. Yeah. Obviously, there's a longevity to this.
Yeah. What's going to happen in 2 weeks when Final Fantasy VII hits? You know, are players still going to be around? Are we still going to be playing this in 6 months? I want to know what happens when the entire galaxy is liberated, because it's almost there.
Maybe that's the story, you know? Like, it's like Kojima had that thing in Phantom Pain where
it's like, the game's over. You finished it. Congrats.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because Kojima had that thing in Phantom Pain where people had to like destroy their nuclear bombs to unlock a secret ending in the game. And it took like 10 years for people to do.
Yeah. Maybe they made it too easy.
Maybe.
Not that it seems like it is, because we played several missions and we had very little impact on the overall.
Yeah, what, like 1%, if that?
No, even 0.1%.
0.1%, yeah.
0.01. 0.001. Tiny.
I wonder how it fights. Does it just like have a time thing for the enemies to push it back, or like if for people failing and dying on the planet? I wonder if that what their algorithm is. You know what I mean? There has to be something set up in there.
Yeah,
that's effective.
You have to be weighted on difficulty as well.
Yeah, true. You know? More points either way, maybe, depending on what difficulty you're on.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
I think we jumped too hard on the last difficulty.
I didn't up that difficulty. I just had it on medium the whole time.
No, we unlocked the one up and then you put it on that, I'm pretty sure.
No, just on medium.
Sure. Yeah, then we got fucked by a bunch of like giant.
We got fucked hard because like I just decided to drop us right into the shit last night at the last second. But yeah, I mean the game's really. I think the thing is, the proving thing is, especially if you're going, well, Suicide Squad and all this sort of thing. There's no like crazy story here. There's no like even flashy game mechanics. It is just very solid gameplay.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
There is very few surprises.
Yeah,
you know, like especially like the extraction, you'd kind of know that some of the enemies are going to come from a certain direction.
Yeah,
and you can kind of prepare. Like there's a, you know, familiarity about certain elements. You know,
but everything just feels good.
yes,
And it shooting those bugs and watching them die in mass and seeing their guts spray everywhere. It has that whatever that hits endorphin in you. You know what I mean?
you just run around. Your cape is just covered in bug guts.
Yeah, I mean, ruin my fucking influencer cape. Yeah, so really, really enjoying it. Can definitely, say gonna keep playing it for sure. Keen to dive into some more. And I mean, hopefully, the thing is, the game's so simplistic. Really, at worst, if you don't play it for a month and come back and play a bit,
it's not gonna you're not gonna be shit.
What do you forget? Maybe you forget. Maybe if you play it, I can understand. Like if you played it a lot, you'd probably memorize the
types of missions.
No, I was thinking the D-pad stuff.
Oh, the stratagems,
For the stratagems, like maybe you don't need to look. But if you go off for a month and have to come back and look at so what? You know what I mean? Like, what's the core gameplay? Hold L2 to aim, R2 to shoot, move with left stick. Like, it's pretty simple to get back into. And I think that's another thing where live service games have, where if mechanics-wise they're too deep, if you fall off and want to come back later, you're like, it's too hard.
Yeah.
Like that barrier to entry sort of thing pushes back on you. So yeah, no, very good. Good success for the team over there. So at Arrowhead. Quickly, side note, I talked about it on Arcade Couch. Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, very good game. Just want to point out, for anyone playing it, trophies are dumb. There is a trophy for there's a trophy for getting one ending where you bring Entaya back to life, or another ending for giving her a scent. That does mean you have to play the game twice, because you can't just like make a different choice at the end of the game. Like how you reach those endings is affected by what you choose to do throughout the entire game. And it's not a short game, so there's some stuff there. Also, there's some collectibles, and there's a trophy for getting all the collectibles. And from what I could see, a couple of those I missed in a section that's like within the prologue of the game, and there's no way to get back to that area. So, I mean, I nearly feel like that one pisses me off more. That playing the game twice to see the different endings, I'm like, that sort of annoys me, but whatever. But the collectibles stuff, that's even more shit to me. I'm like, okay, because at the moment, if that trophy wasn't blocked, I could be like, all right, well, on this playthrough, I could just, I could get my 100% playthrough on my main playthrough, get all the trophies, get all the collectibles, whatever, and then be like, I'll have one trophy left, which should just be to go ham through the game, just focus on story missions and just do it all. But now I'm like, okay, well, I can't do that now, because then if I start that now, even though I've like got like 50% of collectibles, apparently it's 2 I can't get. They're just fucked. So, and then if I did get those ones I missed on a new playthrough, then I have to get all the other ones I've already got. That's I think the thing that pisses me off about that. So, my advice, if anyone from Don't Nod's listening, do a patch like a lot of people do who make this silly mistake of making collectibles be in areas you can't get back to in open world games. Again, I think it's very different. If it's a standard like level select game, it's like you can go back to the level. Collectibles in areas you can't get back to in open world games, dumb. All collectibles in open world games should be in areas you have the ability to get to at all points in time. Just PSA. All right, a couple of news stories to run through. PlayStation Plus game catalog for February has been published by the PS blog. To run through this, see if anything stands out of intrigue to anyone. These are all playable by February 20th, which is, by the time you're listening to this, available. So PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium tier, Need for Speed Unbound, The Outer World, Space Choice Edition, Tales of Arise, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Lego Worlds, Lego Jurassic World, Rogue Book, Rogue Lords, Tales of Zestiria, and then some classics for you. Resistance Retribution, the PSP game. Actually, yeah, PSP, yeah. And then Jet Rider 2, Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Vesperia, and that's your catalog. What do you reckon of these editions? Anything stand out?
I mean, Outer Worlds, that's cool. The full Space Choice Edition with the extra DLC. That's a good addition. Need for Speed Unbound. You played that one, right? You liked that one? Yeah.
I liked that one. It was fun. I didn't finish it or anything, but it was fun.
And then you get the most recent Assassin's Creed as well. So
yeah, some decent.
other than the one they just
Mirage.
released.
Mirage, yeah. The last open world Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
I guess would be the thing there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, some cool stuff now. I think actually, of course, this is a very Dylan answer to this question, but Resistance Retribution is going to be my pick out of the bunch here. PSP.
The only Resistance game Australians will be able to play.
I hope they add trophies. I was just quickly trying to look on PSN profiles then to see if they've added some. I played a lot of this game on. Am I writing this right? On PSP when it came out, and it's really cool. It's like a prequel to the series. It's a third-person shooter instead of a first-person shooter. Obviously, being a PSP game, it wasn't super long or anything like that. Wasn't designed to be quite as long as the other ones, but no trophies up here. That's disappointing. Maybe they'll add some. Oh, maybe they're not live on thing yet. Yeah. So obviously, Resistance, very cool franchise. That game was very cool. If you didn't play it because you didn't have PSP, it was one of those ones. It was definitely one of those ones where they tried to pitch it as more of a cinematic thing and cinematic adventure you could take on the go. At least as far as the PSP was capable. Outer Worlds would be cool to play again, I guess, if I had time, get some trophies, but because I played on Xbox. But and also, I just want to point out, apparently, like they really just go for the people who hate Final Fantasy and aren't playing that. Here's 14 million different Tales games that you can just play at this stage. Jesus Christ, not enough time in the world. And there's like 100-hour Assassin's Creed game for you. Jeez.
Yeah, you can get your money's worth this month.
You can definitely if you equate money to playtime, ticking some boxes. All right, IGN writes over here. Last story for the week. PS5 entering the later stages of its life cycle. After sales of the PlayStation 5 failed to meet expectations, Sony has said that the console is entering the quote-unquote later stages of its life cycle. Sony has had an ambitious target, 25 million PS5 sold during the current fiscal year ending March 31st, 2025, but has now revised its forecast down to 21 million after PS5 sales during the crucial holiday 2023 quarter came in lower than expected despite aggressive promotions. Sony sold 8.2 million PS5s during the third quarter ending December 31st, 2023, up from 7.1 million sold during the same quarter the previous year, but that was not enough to hit Sony's lofty target. According to Bloomberg, Sony Senior Vice President Naomi Matsuka said the company now expects the sales pace of the PS5 to start falling from the next fiscal year, which begins April 2024 and runs until the end of March 2025. Quote, looking ahead, PS5 will enter the latest stage of its life cycle. As such, we'll put more emphasis on the balance between profitability and sales. For this reason, we expect the annual sales pace of PS5 hardware will start falling from next fiscal year. End quote. Given this story paired with the new in the Xbox podcast thing, and they're talking about already, they mentioned the future, their next hardware already, and they were talking about how it's going to be the biggest jump in hardware ever for them, or something like that was their wording. So do you reckon we're moving down to heading towards a PS6? We're already looking down the barrel of that. Obviously not this year, and probably not next year, but maybe 2026.
Hopefully not. I mean, I feel like we barely scratched the surface of what the PS5 has to offer and can actually, I don't think there's anything that's pushing the full potential of the PS5 yet. You know what I mean? In my mind, them saying that it's in its later stages is more, it's in the later stages. It's past its peak selling per year. It's not going to sell more in a year than it has so far, in my opinion. The tail might be very, very long. Or it could also imply this is the halfway point of before we bring out the PS5 Pro. You know what I mean?
Possibly.
Before the PS5 is the premium, is our mainstay, number one console model, in my mind, obviously it came out 2020. 2019?
No, 2020. It's right here in this article, November 2020.
Okay.
Yep.
I couldn't remember whether it was pre or post pandemic.
During the height.
Usually these life cycles are 7 to 8 years. At least the last one was. And the cycles have been getting longer because, it's just more expensive. So I would not expect, a new the PS6 till 2028. Which would also lines up with the idea that this is the halfway point as well. So
I'm gonna go straight for that. I'm gonna go at the earliest late 2026, but most likely early mid 2027.
That's crazy.
You reckon that's crazy?
I think that's crazy.
I think based on the way just the chess pieces lining up and the way that stuff seems to be going, that's where I'd sit at the moment. Do you really think that that's crazy? The PS5, the years between the PS4 and the so PS4 launched in 2013.
Yeah.
That's 7 years.
Yeah.
So this came out 2020. If I say late 2026 or 2027, that's either like 6 years, 6.5 years, or 7 years. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
At most, I'm like thinking 6 months faster than the last console. Do you think that's crazy?
I think that's crazy. Just parts wise, I think, it's still not the easiest thing to get chips and that kind of stuff for things. They're going to get a whole generation's worth of consoles ready by 2027. What actual advancement are we going to see? What is actually going to be the thing that makes a PS6 worth getting?
I think.
Will we actually have 8K, or is the dream of 60 frames per second, 4K at the same time that much of a draw?
Yes, that.
Yeah. What if that was available with the PS5 Pro?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll have that.
Then there wouldn't need to be a PS6.
I think. I think now that the current console generation have moved more in line with PC structure than ever before, getting a faster release is sort of a given to me. PC hardware changes every year, like every 6 months. This is, graphic card comes out, there's already a better one like being developed at the time,
That's the thing. The console doesn't need to be the best.
It doesn't, but I'm saying like seeing a 6 to 7 year turnaround, that wouldn't shock me.
It's not exactly consumer friendly. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think they care as long as people buy it. And I'll buy it.
We're in the middle of a recession. Do you think people have the money to buy another console? A lot of people have only just started picking up PS5s. They just said they've reached their peak of people buying PS5s.
That's a whole bit. That's a whole business side. Maybe they're looking at figures and going, "We're going to come out of the recession by then." I don't know. People are going to have money.
No, I don't think so. I think it's.
Part of business is you can't wait until you're out of it. You got to plan years ahead. You can't just wait.
Yeah.
And then start developing it and magically have it ready to release the same year you start. You got to plan ahead, and sometimes you just got to swings and misses. All right, we'll see who's right and who's wrong in a couple of years. That's all I'm saying.
In several years, yeah.
Yeah, about 2.5, 3 years. Just everyone keep this podcast bookmark. I've got until the end of 2027 to be wrong.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us this week on Platinum Explosion. You can let us know when you think the PS6 is going to release by either tweeting at us or joining our Discord. ExplosionNetwork.com/Twitter takes you to our X page. ExplosionNetwork.com/Discord takes you to a Discord page. And if you like this podcast and the website or both, you can support us by heading over to ExplosionNetwork.com/support. And it's for as little as $1 through $1. I forgot what I was saying there. But anyway, money at us. Help keep the lights on, whatever they say.
Yeah, send us money because we're going to need it for those eventual PS6s coming in 3 years' time.
Start saving now. Get some interest, you know what I mean? And until next week, remember, every trophy counts.